There's a whale skull in the British Museum that's 14 feet long. Just the skull. And when you stand in front of it, you understand exactly why ancient Greeks thought they'd found evidence of Cyclops. Because that's what it looks like. One massive eye socket centered in the forehead. Except it's not an eye socket. It's the nasal cavity, the trunk hole for an extinct species of elephant called Dinotherium. And for 2,000 years, people found these skulls washed up on Mediterranean beaches and built an entire mythology around a misidentified hole. Most mythical creatures aren't invented. They're misunderstood. And once you see the real animal behind the legend, you can't unsee it. Start with dragons. Every continent has them. China, Europe, Mesoamerica, Australia. Different cultures with no contact describing the same thing. Massive reptiles, serpentine bodies, sometimes wings, sometimes not. And for centuries, historians assumed this was collective imagination, archetypal fear of predators. Then we started finding dinosaur fossils in the exact regions where dragon legends were strongest. The Siwalik Hills in India, where Naga mythology originated, are dense with Titanosaurus remains. The Gobi Desert, home to Chinese dragon lore, contains one of the richest Protoceratops fossil beds on Earth. Ancient people didn't have the word paleontology. They had the word dragon. They found enormous reptile skeletons eroding out of cliffs and described what they saw. The details match. Long tails, clawed feet, massive skulls with prominent teeth. In medieval Europe, Megalosaurus jawbones were displayed in churches as dragon relics. They weren't making it up. They were cataloguing evidence with the wrong label. Kraken, giant squid. This one's straightforward. Scandinavian sailors described an island that surfaced without warning, then dragged ships under when it submerged. They called it Kraken. What they were seeing was Architeuthis dux, the giant squid, surfacing to die. These animals live at depths below 2,000 feet. When they're sick or injured, they rise. Their bodies can reach 43 feet long. In low visibility, at night, a mass that size looks like land, until it moves. We have confirmed sightings now, filmed specimens. But for 700 years, this was mythology. Except it wasn't. It was documentation of an animal science didn't classify until 1857. Unicorns, narwhal tusks. European nobility paid more for these than gold. They were sold as proof of unicorns, ground into powder as antidote to poison, displayed as symbols of divine favor. And they worked, economically, because nobody in Europe had access to Arctic waters. Narwhals are whales. The tusk is an elongated canine tooth that spirals out through the upper lip, growing up to 10 feet long. Inuit hunters sold them to Viking traders, who sold them south with no explanation of origin. By the time they reached Mediterranean markets, the story was unicorn. The deception wasn't intentional. It was a game of telephone across 4,000 miles. The tusks were real. The animal attached to them was speculation. Mermaids, manatees, and dugongs. Christopher Columbus wrote about mermaids in his ship logs, described them as less beautiful than expected, rough skin, rounded faces. And he wasn't hallucinating. He was looking at Trichechus manatus, the Caribbean manatee, from a distance, in bad light, after months at sea. These animals surface to breathe. They nurse their young while floating upright, holding infants to their chest with foreflippers. From 200 feet away through ocean spray, that silhouette reads as human. The mistake is understandable. What's interesting is how persistent the myth remained even after close-up encounters. Sailors knew manatees existed. They hunted them for meat. But mermaid sightings continued for another 300 years because the brain prefers mystery to correction. The Yeti, Tibetan blue bear. This one took until 2017 to confirm. DNA analysis of hair samples collected from supposed Yeti evidence matched Ursus arctos prunosus, a subspecies of brown bear native to the Himalayas. These bears walk upright more frequently than other species. They have a distinctive gait. Footprints in snow, melted and refrozen, expand into shapes that look bipedal and oversized. The Sherpa people have known this for generations. The word Yeti in their language doesn't mean unknown primate. It means mountain bear. The mistranslation happened when British explorers heard the stories secondhand and assumed something more exotic. The animal was never hidden. The interpretation was. Thunderbirds, Argentavis magnificens. Indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest described birds large enough to carry off whales, wingspans that blocked the sun. And the fossil record supports this. Argentavis, extinct for 6 million years, had a wingspan of 25 feet, could weigh up to 170 pounds. Fossils have been found in North and South America. But here's the problem. 6 million years is a long gap. Human memory doesn't stretch that far. Unless the stories aren't memory, they're inherited observation. Argentavis went extinct, but Teratornis merriami, a smaller relative, survived until 11,000 years ago, overlapping with human migration into the Americas. These birds were scavengers, followed megafauna herds. Early humans would have seen them feeding, would have watched them lift carcasses. The scale gets exaggerated over generations, but the root behavior, the core image, stays accurate. Basilisks, king cobras. Medieval bestiaries describe a serpent that kills with its gaze, breath so toxic it withers plants. A creature born from a rooster's egg, hatched by a toad. That last part is invention, but the first two are direct observation of Ophiophagus hanna, the king cobra, filtered through fear. These snakes don't need to bite to be dangerous. They can spit venom accurately up to 6 feet, targeting eyes. The venom causes immediate pain, blurred vision, and temporary blindness. To someone who doesn't understand venom mechanics, that looks like a killing gaze. And their threat display, hood flared, body raised 5 feet off the ground, holding eye contact, reads as intentional malice. The basilisk isn't fantasy. It's a field report written by someone who survived an encounter and needed to explain what they saw. We turned animals into myths because we didn't have the tools to categorize them correctly. And now that we do, the myths don't disappear. They just become more interesting. Because what we were actually doing for thousands of years was science. Bad science, incomplete science, but documentation nonetheless. Every dragon skeleton was a fossil find. Every Kraken sighting was a cephalopod behavior study. We were building a record of the natural world using the only framework we had: storytelling. The line between mythology and zoology isn't a wall, it's a gradient. And most creatures live somewhere in the middle.